right, so I'm not sure if I should use this, because I'm sure I should not use this, but I'm saying maybe the shape of the tenon I could incorporate into this guitar, but I really need to look at the fact that I'm putting a 7-string in, using a 6-string neck template with a 24 3/4 inch scale to work out a 7-string neck pocket with a 25.5 inch scale. Sounds like a recipe for disaster. So I think I'm gonna have to get some measurements off of a 7-string I already own and then bring that over to this. All right, so I think I came up with an idea what I have to do next. This is one of my babies. A whole lot of Shatterbone songs were recorded on this guitar. I love this guitar a whole lot. I love the neck on this guitar a whole lot. So I'm going to match the carve of this guitar for that guitar, because I really like the neck on this guitar. For a 7-string, it's a great neck. Okay. So yes. Okay. So now I have my carved template. I had this a little too deep by the time I was done, but so I notched it a little. But I have my 1st fret and my 12th fret. So when I go to carving the neck, I've got that. So another little job done. All the little jobs end up resulting in one guitar at the end, so. it's not a perfect tool, but it gets a hell of a lot closer than, I don't know, I saw one video, Ben was trying to do it by like using 14 pieces of masking tape, just trying to tape around the perimeter of a neck to try and get it, and it still wasn't 100%. So I mean, I don't know if there is a perfect method to get your neck carved, but that one seems to work pretty close. You know, I use that step gauge thingy and get it so I have pretty close, and then steer it the rest of the way with the oscillating spindle sander. All right, so typical body depth on a Les Paul is 52 millimeters. At least that's what most of my Les Pauls in the house say. So, yeah, lose a finger. Thing's heavy. So, yeah, we're about 10 millimeters thicker than that. So, I could take some off of this. Now I'm definitely taking some off of the top with the carve. That might take me down 5 millimeters up there, but that still leaves me with about 4 millimeters, 5 millimeters off the back, and that's still allowing for final sanding too. So I think I'm going to do that. Take down the back a little bit, because I'm not 100% sure what size plate's on this thing. 37. Yeah, I could still stand to lose 10 millimeters and not even have to worry about it hitting yet. So I think I'm gonna take it down about 5 millimeters off the back. If I do that, then we're looking at top carve, and I'm still not sure what I'm doing there. I'm starting to lean towards using the angle grinder. I've never done it before. Most of the builders I know that carve Les Paul tops do the angle grinder method rather than the router sled and the step templates like I did on the last build, and then all the hand carving. I think I might try that. We'll practice on something else first, but if it works, I think I'm gonna try that. But okay, so we're gonna take this fella down a little ways. Okay. So we took a little bit off of that. That's not quite as thick as it was. Still thicker than a Les Paul, but we still have to do the top carve yet, so I think we're good.
1 week later.
All right. So scarf joint is done. Looks good. But there's a lot of glue. So squeeze out glue. So we're going to clean that off quick before we proceed any further. And I usually would use a scraper for this, but since I have so much, I'm going to start out with the chisel to take the big gobs off, and then probably go at it with a scraper. As long as you're not digging in with the chisel, that's not a problem. And I've got a feeling I'm going to have to plane that just a little bit. I'm fairly certain that's not. Yeah. Actually, that's not bad. But it's not great. I bought this thing from Rockler, and it's a card scraper sharpener. So it's got a rough edge, it's got a fine edge, and it's got a steel for rolling the burr. And I tell you, I've watched other guys do it where they just take a stone and they can, you know, just put their card on the stone and sharpen it like that, and then put it in a vise and roll it over with a steel. That's great if you're super steady and you can keep that 1/16 of an inch of thick steel or 3/32 inch thick piece of steel square with the stone. I'm not that steady, so this thing has been a godsend for sharpening card scrapers. It works really nice. And it wasn't all that painfully expensive either, which I like. So, okay, well then I think, like I said, we're gonna need to plane this flatter, just because there's a, I never seem to have that perfect intersection here where this just comes out glued perfectly flat. I don't know anybody who does. If you do, I could use your suggestions. Otherwise, that means I'm gonna have to run the plane over it a few times just to make sure that it's nice and flat. The problem is this is not a really thick board. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a piece of 2x4, if I can find one in my wood pile. This is something we were discussing in the Guitar Builders Collective the other day. Everybody has a strategically placed scrap wood pile, so it's not in the camera shot. But yeah, okay. Nominated. It's a little bit long for the job, but
that's what she said.
There you go. Okay. All right. So now Okay. That's about as perfectly straight as I could get it. Awesome sauce. Now, I had a bit of an issue. Plans changed just slightly. I am not going to be doing a glued neck, set neck. Because I was not thinking really during the planning phase. You know, live and learn. But in order to do a long neck tenon, and even a short neck tenon really extends a bit underneath the neck pickup. So you route out the neck pocket, you route out the neck pickup, and then you route the neck tenon deep enough so it'll glue in and it sits underneath the neck pickup. I'm not putting a neck pickup on this guitar. So in order to do this, one or two things is going to happen. I'm either going to have to come up with a scrap of wood that I can use to camouflage the overhang in some way. One guy, I'm sorry, I forgot who it was that gave me the suggestion, said what he did was he just, you know, left like an extra 2 inches or so on the fretboard, like a big tongue that overhung it, and then he did a really neat looking inlay in it and stuff like that. I don't have enough material to do that on this fretboard, so that automatically shoots that idea. But also the other thing is, you know, like I said, find a piece of scrap wood that I can inlay there to camouflage. That's going to look like crap in my opinion. I want to leave that top as, you know, unmolested as possible by the time I'm done. So I'm gonna go with a bolt-on neck again, and save the set neck shenanigans for a future build. See, I wrote 24th fret there because that lets me know that's not where I have to cut it off. That's where the 24th fret is. I almost did it on my brother's guitar, where I got super excited and cut it off, and I literally only left about maybe 3 millimeters past the 22nd fret. And I honestly was sweating bullets hammering in that 24th fret because I was so afraid that ebony was gonna just chip and fall right off. It didn't, but yeah, got to give myself a little more room past that last fret when I saw it off, so I'm, you know, I'm not running that risk. Okay, so now we can start figuring out width. So it's 68.88 is what I came up with on the 7-string that I have in the house. So if I figure 35 millimeters on either side, that's 70. That's a millimeter and a third over. it's not, or not even millimeter and a quarter over. That's not a big deal because I'm gonna have to figure sanding and stuff yet too. So, all right. So we're gonna, at the 24th fret, we had 68.88. So we're gonna go 35 on either side. Now, the nut, and I wrote it down because I knew I was going to be going to check this about 500 times here in the next several weeks. 48 millimeters. So half of that's 24. Okay, make sure my maths are correct. No, 48. Let's do it on this side. Doesn't have the micrometer measurements. Yep, okay. All right, so now there's nut width, there's 24th fret width. Could you help me out here a second, Mrs. Unit?
Sure.
Put your finger right there so it stays there.
Your
What?
ruler's not straight.
What do you mean it's not straight?
It looks wider here than it is.
It is.
Here. Oh, that's
Guitar necks do that.
It's supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
I forgot that. Sorry.
That's okay. I think I'm gonna go with a little bit wider lead though, because that one keeps wanting to snap. Okay. And then can you step aside a second? Thank you. Okay. So now, how I did it last time with my brother's guitar, I've got this piece under the nut, this piece under the fretboard. That's how it's supposed to be done as far as I'm aware. Now with my brother's, I had a shelf on the fretboard itself for the nut shim. I think I'm gonna do the same thing this time. So I really don't have to have a tunnel, because this is going to be covered by the nut shelf in the fretboard. I could still do it, but I kind of don't want to because it's a pain in the ass. It's not the biggest pain in the ass in the world, but it's nerve-wracking every time you do it. Okay.
You have to measure for those.
Huh? Yeah, but I got one thing at a time. I want to get this done first so I know exactly how much material I'm eating away. Then I'm going to do that. Because I don't want to do them all at the same time and then run into a situation where I screwed myself and now there's no wood in between them. They're just all gobbed in the middle. Alright, so that's about 6 millimeter wide, and that's what the router bit is, so that's good. So if we figure out 6 millimeters wide here, this is one thing I still have not purchased, and I should. I really should.
Is what?
A truss rod router template.
Didn't you make one?
No.
I thought you did.
No. Okay.
Sounded like you went a little bit further than you wanted to.
Here we go. So that should get me deep enough then that that'll sit in there. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of my madness. Click like, subscribe, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.